Let's take a few minutes to talk about what happened yesterday at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. And, Bobby, you were there.
I was there. And we got a chance to see Trey Lance for really the first time ever because we weren't able to see him last year. Every time the quarterbacks were going to come out and do work, that's when our time to watch practice had ended. So first chance to see Trey Lance. He did end 7-on-7 with an interception. He got picked off, something Dak did not do. By the way, I'd like to point out, Dak drove them down the field and scored. But again, for people who are wondering,
did Lance look any different to you? As people are like,
we didn't get to see him last year. Every time the quarterbacks come out, they would take us out. Like that would be the end of McCarthy. Staggers it that way on purpose.
Yeah.
Generally, the quarterbacks are inside doing quarterback school. They come jog out, and they're out there for maybe 2 minutes before we have to go in.
McCarthy said he's definitely seen significant progress from Lance. Quote, now starting to get the timing with the routes. He's close to being a master of the system.
Oh, baby.
He has a really high understanding. He just needs as many reps as he can. But the big story yesterday has to do with Micah Parsons, as he has not been practicing with the team, but he's tweeting with the team, right?
Yeah, he was, while we were in there's a strict policy at Cowboys practice. Unless it's an open practice to the public, you're not allowed to live tweet from practice because it's a closed session. You're not allowed to tweet anything till after. So that was our greatest tell that Micah Parsons was not going to be at practice, was looking at Twitter and seeing during the stretching that, Micah's tweeting thoughts about the NBA Finals.
McCarthy was asked if Micah has missed an opportunity to elevate teammates by missing part of these voluntary
What do voluntary mean?
Spring practices the past 2 years, and this is pretty uncharacteristic for Mike talking about his star players.
Well, I think anytime you have a chance to be together, it's an opportunity to improve, whether it's in the mental realm, the physical realm, which is limited obviously this time of year, but in the emotional connection and so forth. So it's a long year. Training camp is really the heightened focus for all that. But yeah, it's definitely an opportunity that's been missed.
That final line, I was surprised that he added that.
He generally, his entire reputation is he protects players. Like, that's one of the reasons why players do like him throughout his time in Green Bay and here in Dallas is he protects players with the practice schedule, right? Like, he keeps them healthy throughout the year. He protects players by, when Zach Martin doesn't necessarily want to play tackle, Mike's willing to go out there and say, why would I play him a tackle? That's fantasy football nonsense. He puts it on himself. And that's something that he really does. It did not feel like yesterday he wanted to take any of the Micah Parsons heat.
Including Clarence Hill, asking about number 11 again.
With Micah being back, how does he look? What has he missed? And what's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, Micah's looks to be in really good shape. So, but it's a new defense, so we have work to do.
How much could he take in? Did he have the playbook before, and how much could he do on his own? And how behind is he? I guess we'll ask.
Well, I think like anything, he's engaged. We'll be ready when it's time. So I have confidence in that.
Good questions from Clarence right there, and then you know that who has to come in late to maybe draw the ire when the pot of water is boiling. Jane Slater.
Coach, I just want to circle back. So Micah Parsons is not here today.
I'm not doing attendance. Yeah, that's we try to have some lightness to it. I'm not going to come up here and talk about one player, especially when there's 98% of the guys are here.
Look, baby, I don't have a problem with Micah Parsons not being at voluntary practice. I hate when businesses and jobs do this when on paper, technically, you don't have to do something and they all pressure you into doing it. It's a bunch of BS. It's voluntary.
I'm not doing attendance.
I don't have a problem with Micah Parsons not necessarily wanting to be the leader of the Dallas Cowboys or the leader of the defense. What I do have a problem with is Micah talking like he wants to do it and then not showing up. You don't want to do it, that's fine. It's voluntary. You don't have to be the leader. But when you're quoted in the offseason and saying, I want to change the culture, these are quotes, I want to change the identity of what the Cowboys are, cut the charades out, cut out the extra stuff, I just want people to lock in for 22 or whatever weeks, that is what I have a problem with. Because you're not following through with any of it. You go there from the beginning, you set the tone, you got a new defense as well. If Dan Quinn was there for his umpteenth year or whatever, okay, maybe fine. Just don't talk about it if you're not going to be about it. That's my problem with Micah.
Yeah, and that's That is what you can tell.
Because he's great at talking and wanting to sound like Michael and Kobe. He's dying to be put in that conversation with the Lion mentality. That's not this.
He wants to, like you said, he wanted to change the culture. He wants to be the leader. He's the one talking about, look, we can't say we were too tired at the end of the season. We can't do this and that. You need to show up to that sort of thing. Brandon Cooks talked yesterday about like the importance of being there at OTA practices, and he had said, like, outside of COVID, I've never missed one in my entire career. I'm always there because I think it's important, and you want to talk about setting a tone and those sort of things. And for Micah to talk like that, it's got to match up. To me, I have no problem with CeeDee Lamb not being there. CeeDee Lamb is trying to get something done with a contract where he feels like they've not negotiated. I don't want to say they haven't negotiated fairly, but he doesn't feel like the negotiation has gone the way it should, so he is not going to show up to things that are voluntary. Once it's mandatory, I imagine CeeDee Lamb shows up. But for this one, for Micah, to talk about how he needs to be a leader and you've got a new defense and all of those things, and then to just blow it off feels hollow.
Here's what happened. Micah did some research in the offseason, and he realized that he saw, because he calls himself a lion, that male lions don't actually do anything. The female lions do all the hunting.
Yes.
The male lion just sits back behind a tree.
Waits gets first dibs.
Gets first dibs, waits for the food to come, and if the female lion sticks her tail in front of his face, he climbs on board. Like that's kind of what Micah did this offseason, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to climb on board when the schedule shows, puts the piece of paper in front of his face. It's training camp time.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem with that.
What else stood out yesterday?
The offensive line groupings that they're still running. Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe are still not with the first team, and that's
Don Beebe.
No, not Don Beebe either. The Guyton and Beebe thing, we talked about that right after the draft. Like, don't be surprised if they bank on veterans above the rookies early on. Like, they're going to have to show something to get the coaches to trust them. Coaches will almost always take a lesser talented veteran over a high upside rookie, especially when they feel like their jobs are on the line.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not going to have busts ruin us. So I'm talking about when they separated the two team, like the first and second team on different ends of the field, Guyton and Beebe were down at the second team side. It was Edoga on the first team side, and then rotating in for giving Edoga rest was Awesome Richards. And rotating in at center was TJ Bass over Brock Hoffman. So, I mean, Beebe and Guyton they are clearly being brought along. They're not just being inserted in the lineup. They'll have to earn it. It's the same approach they had with Tyler Smith before Tyron got hurt.
By the way, a couple Tolos are also asking, how's Micah going to get his shoes now? Wolves fan from Anthony Edwards. How's he going to go ahead and do that? A couple final McCarthy notes. On the NFLPA reportedly trying to scrap the spring workout program in favor of an earlier training camp with a long summer ramp up. He said, that's a hypothetical I hope does not happen.